Let's bring in Congressman Jim Jordan. He's chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and he's also the weaponization of government. Congressman, we didn't know we didn't know. Yeah. Now that we've seen the 16-page indictment, does that make you more apt to make sure that Alvin Bragg comes to Washington to testify, to explain himself?
Yeah, because he said yesterday he had additional evidence. I didn't see any additional evidence, and he said 34 counts. I think that's the invoices, the vouchers, and the checks, and it totals up to 34. So I think a lot of people thought there was no case here before his announcement yesterday, before the arraignment yesterday, before we got to see the indictment. But now after we've seen all that yesterday, I think people think it's even more political than we thought beforehand. Of course, my big takeaway is just how relentless they've been after President Trump. I mean, they spy on his campaign, they raid his home, now they indict him for a campaign finance violation when he didn't even use campaign funds. It's ridiculous, but I think even more important than all that is this is about all of us. I don't think it's an accident that this happens the same month we learned that the FTC went to a private company and said, who are the journalists you're talking to? We have two of those journalists testify in front of Congress, and the Democrats ask them who their sources are. While the Democrats are asking one of those journalists those questions, the IRS is knocking on his door. This is about intimidation. This is about chilling everyone's speech, making everyone stay in line. Even the judge yesterday said, hey, Mr. Trump, President Trump, be careful what you say. I think that's a message to all us regular folks across the heartland, and to me, that's the most alarming thing of all.
You tweeted out election interference and equal justice under the law unless you're a Republican running for president. They're saying he could face 136 years behind bars. I guess it's 4 years per count, 34 counts. Will that happen? Will he spend time behind bars?
Of course not. And everyone, I mean, what should happen is this case never should have been brought, and what should happen now, it should get dismissed. But we're going to have to wait till what? I think December 4th is the hearing, and the trial scheduled for even into next year, into next January. This is ridiculous. Everyone gets it. Remember, the Department of Justice wouldn't bring the case. The former District Attorney Cy Vance wouldn't bring the case. And even Alvin Bragg himself wouldn't bring the case until two of his guys resign, pitch a fit, get the left all fired up, and maybe most importantly, until Donald Trump announces he was running for president again and is leading in all the polls. So suddenly Alvin Bragg has a change of heart and decides to bring the case. And as I said earlier, what we saw yesterday only makes us wonder, like, what is going on here? Yeah. Again, with the star witness being Michael Cohen. I remember when Michael Cohen was in front of the Oversight Committee 4 years ago and lied 6 times to Congress. That's their key witness? That's the guy they're going to build this case on? I just don't get it.
See, Congressman, I read the indictment, and I think David Pecker, the guy from the National Enquirer, is going to be their key witness.
Maybe.
But, you know, when you look at Donald Trump's many cases pending against him, you know, Georgia, Mar-a-Lago, and this was without a doubt the weakest case. But the other cases, I know the Georgia grand jury has returned indictments. They got to figure out what to do with them. And then the U.S. Attorney, Jack Smith, trying to figure out what to do with that. Have you advised the former president at all about those pending cases?
No, I mean, look, we don't know what's going on there. We'll see what happens. What I do know is the left never stops. I mean, it was 2016, they spied on his campaign. 2018, it was Mueller investigation. 2020, it was suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story. 2022, it's raiding his home 91 days before the election. And now it's this in the run-up to the 2024 presidential race. As I've said many times before, why won't they just let we, the people, decide who we want representing in office? Why do they always have to, the FBI or the left, get involved in every single election trying to put their finger on the scale? They've been out to get President Trump ever since he went in public life and ran for office. And I think it's because he's actually fighting for we the people, not fighting for the establishment in the swamp here. And that's the key problem I think the left has with President Trump.
I don't think I have to tell you we have so many bigger problems. We have the China breathing down our neck. The dollar is going to be leaving as a currency, it seems. We know our military threats that are taking place. We see what's happening with the Ukraine war. We see what's happening with Russia and China combining. We see what's happening with oil and gas prices, our lack of production. We're not building pipelines or maximizing it. And we're focusing on something that happened 17 years ago that's been brought forward from 6 years ago. It makes no sense. Now, what's the situation with Alvin Bragg? We know the Speaker of the House thinks he's weaponizing government. Are you going to subpoena him? Do you expect him to come before you? What questions do you have for him?
We want to know if he was coordinating any type of coordination with the federal government, with the Department of Justice, or with the White House. You know, President Biden had that cheesy smile on his face yesterday when he got asked the question. Well, I mean, what did that smile mean? I don't know. We do know that he's conceded that he used federal funds. His latest correspondence back to us, he's conceded that he used federal funds. We know this investigation grew out of the special counsel Mueller investigation. That, of course, is a federal statute. And of course, we know that this is all about, in our judgment, election interference in the most important election we have. So we want to talk to him. He's asked what questions we have, so I think he's almost conceding the point that we should be able to talk to him. Everything's on the table. We're going to figure out how we proceed next, but we do want to get some answers to some key questions.
Yeah, he wants it in writing.
Yeah, but what are the odds that he actually shows?
I mean, who knows? He may contest it and may have to go to court. We'll see. But what we want to, the other angle that I think is real important is Mr. Pomerantz, because Mr. Pomerantz is the guy who wrote the book. He's the DA who was out to get President Trump. He has left the DA. He's no longer employed there. He's written a book. He's lectured on this. He's talked on this. He's went on TV and talked about it. We think we'd like to talk to him and start to get some answers. That may be an easier route to pursue initially than Mr. Bragg, but everything is on the table.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet. Thank you.